I forgot to say last week that it's a new month. We're in April. And so the theme this month is create ageless vitality. Create ageless vitality. And so thank you so much for that great song right before the talk. It's so funny, Angel, because typically what I ask is to have the slower song before the talk, right? So when you started the faster song, I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? The pattern is, this is not the way we do it. And then I'm like, what is wrong with you? Just get up and dance, right? Like, just feel it, right? And then I thought, oh, this is perfect, actually, because it's a rainy day. Right? We don't have a lot of people here today. A lot of our people are out of town and different things are happening. And we're so small that when 6 people are out, we feel it, And so it could easily be a time where we let the energy drop. Yes. And that is not in alignment with ageless vitality, right? Because we also have seasons in our life where, things are a little bit lean. Things are you're getting older, whatever's going on in your world, right? There's not so much energy or vitality. And if we let ourselves succumb to that, then we have a very, very different life, right? If we let ourselves succumb to the way things always have been, then we are not really aligned with or able to create this ageless vitality. So thank you for that, because that was such a gift, and it energized us in a different kind of way. So beautiful. So, in talking about ageless vitality, and Audrey, I am so sorry, but can you please grab my water out of my bag? I can tell my throat's like, things are starting to shut down up here. Thank you so much. And so for those of you on line, I like big mugs and I cannot lie. So, So in talking about ageless vitality, I shared with you all a long time ago, or not a long time ago, but before I've shared with you, that in growing up in this teaching, I was in a class maybe in high school or I think I was in high school. And I was in a class in our Science of Mind church, and my mom and I we were like spiritual road dogs, so of course she was in the class too. She was taking the class, and then I tagged along. And in this class, and I do not remember what the class was, but I remember it was something like mental equivalent. It was basically a class where it's like you are creating the life you want, right? You set a goal and then you practice these principles. You do spiritual mind treatment, meditation, visualization, all these things, and you're creating the life you want. And there was a woman in the class who was, I don't know. At that time, she seemed really old. She was probably my age, but she seemed really old, and she had wrinkles and everything, and she was very upset with the aging process. She was very upset that she was losing her beauty, according to her, that her looks were fading, that she was experiencing wrinkles and whatever else was going on, right? And so in the class, the minister who was teaching it said, okay, well, here's what you're going to do. And he instructed her to make an affirmation tape, to do her affirmations, the stuff we were doing in class, do a prayer treatment. And so this woman made this is back in the cassette days, for those of you who are old enough to remember that. So she made this cassette, and I don't know how she looped it, but she made this cassette, and she said she would listen to it every single night. Right, and it was all affirmations about being young. I am youthful. I am vitalized. I am energized. My face is smooth. Like, she just would have these affirmations that she worked with all the time. And by the end of that class, and it was back in those days, classes were longer, so it was maybe a 12-week class, maybe a little longer. By the end of that class, that woman physically looked completely different. Her wrinkles had disappeared to a good degree. Her skin smoothed out. She was energetic. She was smiling. She was vitalized. I mean, the physical transformation alone was astounding. And the energetic transformation and the mindset transformation was astounding. And I remember seeing that as a kid, thinking, oh my God, this stuff works, because physically I saw a physical transformation, right? She didn't get plastic surgery. She didn't this is way before Botox and fillers, I think. I guess they had some kind of thing, right? She didn't do that. She did this through the power of her mind, through the power of co-creating with spirit. And for me, that will always stand as, look at what God can do. Like one of the things that I've experienced where it's like, look at God, right? Look at God. This woman is completely transformed physically by doing the work that we know and that we do here. So this was the spark for me in creating this month where we look at ageless vitality. This idea that really what's happening is, as we're aging, yes, it is a biological process, but God trumps all biological processes because God created the biological process. God created the body, right? So enough alignment with spirit can trump any kind of biological process. We see Jesus practicing this all the time, raising Lazarus from the dead, right? Curing people from blindness, all kinds of things, because he was so aligned with the presence of God within him. He was so aligned with the what he called the Father within, that his touch, his word could transform instantly, right? So we know that this is possible. We know that to the degree that we are open to it and practice it, we can have these transformations in our lives, even of physical conditions. Right? So much of aging is where people are making an agreement about it, right? People are agreeing, oh, like I hate all this talk right now, and I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but I'm just going to be real here. I hate all this talk right now about, oh, menopause, oh, perimenopause, all these things are happening, and like this whole conversation about it, right? Or, oh, this thing, or, oh, that thing, or, oh, like there's always, there's so much focus on the physical. And it's like, that's cool if you want to have that experience and be in community and be complaining about that and be complaining about aging. That's great. Be awake and do it, though, and know it comes with consequences, right? Because once you agree to aging, then your body goes, oh, okay, well, let's go, right? Once you agree to, oh, I'm getting older, I'm broken down, blah, 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 whatever, your body goes, okay, well, let's do that, right? Your body's going to follow what your mind tells it, yes? So that's what this month is all about. It's like, let's not, well, we can choose anything. We can choose to agree with anything. Just be awake in the choice. Don't be swept up in the world, right? So if you're going to be like, you know what, yep, I'm aging, and I just want to be all about, I'm aging and I'm getting older and everything, and I'm going to let my body and my mind agree with that, then that's cool. Make that decision. Make it awake. And you can also choose, you know what? Yeah, we're on a linear timeline in these bodies, in these earth suits that we have. Yes, there is a linear timeline. Yes, there is biology. And we can also choose how we're going to participate in time passing. We can choose that. So last thing I'll say, because I'm on fire, this is my topic. So I recently met with someone, and this happens periodically. I had a meeting with someone, and after we talked for a while, the person was like, so how old are you? And I said, well, I don't discuss my age. And they were like, what? Like, and I'm like, yeah, like, and they were like, well, and they said what age they were. And I'm like, cool, great, right? And they were like, what do you mean you don't tell your, what do you, and I said, why is that even important? I can't think of a time I've asked anyone their age, ever. At close friends, clients, I can't think of a time because it doesn't matter. I'm connected to you through consciousness, right? And so what I find is people who are hyper-fixated on age and understanding what your age is, it's really a form of competition. It's a tool for competition, right? Because then once you can place somebody in age, then you can start positioning yourself around where they should be, where you are, where those things. So I'm always very alert when there are people who are hyper, and this person I was meeting with a couple times made a couple jokes about age, or about me being ageless or whatever. And it's like, okay, right? Because why is that even pertinent to the conversation, to the relationship? Because you are the age that you buy into, right? And so what we know about the world, especially with women, I will just say, what we know about the world is the world has certain expectations and roles and identities for you if you're a certain age. Whether you're too young, whether you're too old, whether you're in the middle, the world has certain beliefs and programs and identities and scripts and things for us to follow that are not true. They're not true. Capital T true. They are not true. There's an agreement that we've all made to it. I don't know about you, but I've met some people who are at a much more advanced age, who are electrifying, who are clear, who are powerful. I've met younger people who are like the Walking Dead, right? Who are completely drained of energy, no life, no vitality, no energy, right? And I've met 80 and 90-year-olds that are like out moving and shaking and baking, doing stuff. So this is a construct that we've agreed to that here we don't agree to at Silicon Valley Center for Spiritual Living. It's not true, okay? So now let's get to the talk I'm actually supposed to talk about today. So here's the talk I'm actually supposed to talk about, and Mom, I'm going to need your help. There was a song that we used to sing in the Agape Choir that I'm going to be talking about, so I need you to go in the vault and pull it out for me when I get to these lines. So just be ready. I'm giving you a warning. So today I'm talking about the years the locusts have eaten. This beautiful phrase, this beautiful quote from Joel 2:25, for scripture from the Bible, where it says, "I will restore to you the years the locusts have eaten." There's something so powerful and so beautiful about those words and about that promise, right? Because so often what I find more and more the older I get is that there's much more time to look back than there is to look forward. And sometimes in that looking back, we have questions around, have I lost time? Did I spend too much time in this thing? Did I not spend enough time in this thing? Should I have turned left when I turned right? Should I have done this? Is it too late for me? Right? A lot of that starts to come up as people age, and even people who, have more time in front of them than behind them have these questions, because this is what the world programs us to do. Is to think we're powerless, there's not enough time, you haven't done the right thing, right? And social media compounds that, right? If your life doesn't look like that, then you're not successful. If your life doesn't look like this, if your relationship doesn't look like that, if your home doesn't, right? There's all this stuff now that supports this notion, this false notion that somehow we're not enough, right? Somehow there's not enough time. Oh my God, did I waste my time? Did I waste my years? And now it's too late, and now I'm old and right? Where's Jenna when I need her to to reinforce my sound effects? Right, exactly. Like that's just that voice, right? That voice that's just like gets all in our heads and all in the way, right? And so here's the thing, y'all. These doubts, fears, concerns, regrets are nothing trying to become something. They're nothing trying to become something, right? If we look at the metaphysical meaning of the statement, "I will restore to you the years the locusts have eaten." So the locusts represent these destructive, unconscious patterns of living, right? The fear and the doubt, the misalignment, the uncertainty, all of the things that can consume your time and energy around, did I do it good enough? Did I do like all that stuff? Those are the locusts, right? And they eat up your life. They eat up your energy. They eat up your joy. They eat up your ability to create anything new. They eat up your ability to hear the divine presence that's always saying yes and always wanting to express to us and wanting to create. It is an eternal creator. And yet, those locusts eat up all of that energy and space for that, right? And the years that are eaten are not only time, but they are seasons in our life where our full expression or our full potential was not fully realized, right? Those seasons in our life where we felt like it was not fully realized, right? Whether it was a marriage or a job or something you felt like you stayed too long, right? And we have these things that we carry around as baggage, and it impedes our ability to actually express and create something new the older we get, right? The more baggage we carry, the harder it is to create something. The more baggage we carry, the harder it is to see a new way. The more baggage we carry, the harder it is to have a vision break through that we actually want to be making and creating. Because we just get beat down by all the regrets and the shouldas and the wouldas and the why nots. And so here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. This idea of restoring, that God will restore the years the locusts have eaten, the years that feel like they were wasted, the years that feel like, why did I do that? God restores those. And here's why. Because we're not living in, we cannot live in the past. We can't live in the past. We can't create from the past. The power is in the present moment, right? The power is in now. The power is in this day, this moment, right now, while you're here in these chairs. That's where you're most powerful. The past does not exist. The future's not here yet. And even in your life, the past doesn't exist, but it's driving you right now, right? And the future is not here yet, and yet our fear and concern about the future is driving us right now, versus being right in the present moment and saying, oh, okay, right here from this place, in this space, what do I truly want? What do I truly want to create? What is my vision right now? Where do I want to be? How do I want to experience my life? How do I want to experience my relationships? Like, these are the questions we ask in the now moment. Because what we realize is the way that we are open to God restoring, the way we become an open channel for God to restore our lives, is we have to reframe the past and reframe those locust years, right? So those were not wasted years. Those were years of building resilience, of building capacity, of building wisdom, of building knowledge, of our soul's growth in ways that we won't ever know in these earth suits, right? We won't ever know the way our soul needs to grow in these earth suits. We can't have knowledge of that while we're in this dimension. But God knows. And here's the other thing. In this teaching, what we say is God is not a person. God is a power, a presence, something that truly cannot be articulated, defined. We use these words, but God is greater than all of it. And we also say and know that God is all intelligent. So please explain to me how, if God is all these things, and we are each unique expressions of God, loaded and coated with intelligence, loaded and coated with power, with grace, with love, how is it then that God can make a mistake in our lives for multiple years on a relationship or a job or a whatever? How is that possible? It's not possible, right? It's our humanness agreeing with an error consciousness, right? If God is all powerful and all intelligent and it created you out of itself, and you moved left instead of moving right, and you did this for 10 years instead of doing it for 2, nothing is wasted. That's an investment in your growth, an investment in your skills, an investment in your time, an investment in your capacity, an investment in your life and your ability to be a light for other individuals, right? That was your training ground so you can be a guide for somebody else who's going through that, where you can shine the light for someone else and say, oh, you know what? Let me just share with you. What I would suggest is maybe you want to look at this. You know, before I left my other role at another spiritual center, a very wise, powerful individual who I was in a conversation with, who is on the world stage, said to me, based on their experience, don't stay too long. Don't stay too long, right? Based on their experience. Them having walked through something in their life where they thought, whoa, you know, they look back and go, whoa, I stayed too long. I shouldn't have stayed that long in that situation. And they saw me in a similar situation and said to me, don't stay too long, right? And that was part of my awakening to like, oh, wait, there's something else that I need to be doing, right? But that individual, their experience of those locust years became a word of truth for me that brought me here into my vision. And that's what you are for other people. So those years were not wasted. That time was not wasted. There is a way that God will use you if you are open to it, if you can let go of the baggage of, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should have done that. Oh, wailing and gnashing of teeth. If you can stop that, then God can actually move and use you to help someone else, lift someone else, right? To help transform someone else. You know, the other thing is that in thinking about how to be open to the years, right, being restored, the time being restored, I want to be clear, it's not about going back, right? It's not about going back, right? So even though the language says, I will restore to you the years the locusts have eaten, what it means is it's not a repetition, right? You get to go back and do all those things. No, it is a restoration, right? So you are aligned now, a fresh alignment with Spirit, a fresh opening and space and place for Spirit to move through. Once all the guilt and shame and all that stuff is moved out of the way, you're now restored. And you're in this present moment, and you're awake, and you're alert, and you're choiceful. You're able to make a choice about how you're going to move forward, about what you truly desire, about what you really want to do. You're unencumbered from the past, from the weight, right? That is the restoration of the years. That is the restoration of Spirit. Because God does not know whether it is, God is not saying, well, if you hadn't done that, this would happen, right? Right? If you hadn't done this, that would happen. And, one of the things with my mom is that she's not a I told you so person and never has been. And she has never said anything to me like, well, if you had done that, if you da-da-da-da, right? Now, my dad, on the other hand, it'd be like, well, if you had gotten married then da-da-da-da. If you had done this thing, then, that my dad was very much into, like, if I hadn't, done the exact things, well, this is why that's happening to you now, right? And that is the world voice, right? That is the world voice. And Spirit is saying, no, none of that's true. That is not true. If you're ready, let's go now. If you're ready, let's create now. If you're ready, let's rise now. If you're ready, let's play now, right now. That is what is true. And that's what I want you to get. Shut off the voice of the world. Get aligned with Spirit that is within you. It is always speaking. It is always alive. You are already loaded and coated with every quality of the divine, but the time is now. It is now. So this is how we move into that space of allowing the years the locusts have eaten to be restored unto us. So here's your assignment. I want you to think about something, and let's just do it together now as a little practice, which I always love to do. So go ahead and close your eyes and take a nice deep breath. Just let go and take a breath, y'all, and just really, really feel into one area of your life or one situation, occurrence, circumstance where you feel regret, where you are blaming or shaming yourself. And I want you just to take a deep breath as you consider that, where you are blaming and shaming yourself. And as you're breathing, I want you just to imagine that with each breath, God is simply blowing apart the blame and the shame. With each breath that you take right now, God is blowing apart, breaking up guilt, breaking up shoulda, woulda, coulda. With each breath, God is moving through your body and your mind and your heart and your brain and making everything anew in this moment. And imagine yourself just shrugging off whatever that old thing is, whatever that old baggage. Imagine just walking out of it, shedding it like an old coat, where you're just taking it off, and just even do the movement of just taking it off of your body and letting it drop away, fall away as you are standing in this present moment. And I want you to feel lighter. Feel yourself in this new way of being where all that baggage is dissolved, it's gone. And feel the dawning of a new day in your consciousness. Yes, take a deep breath. Dawning of a new day in your heart. The dawning of a new day in your brain, in your soul, in your emotional body. And just imagine yourself standing in this beautiful, beautiful hill or mountaintop, and you are just looking out over the land in front of you. That is your life that you are surveying. And as far as you can see is sunlight and possibility, freedom, blue skies. That is the restoration. And just take a deep breath as you survey this scene in front of you. And just hear the rain falling, so beautiful. And when you're ready, just take a deep breath and open your eyes. And what I want you to know on this side is that nothing essential has been wasted in your life, in your desires, in your dreams, in your relationships. Nothing has been wasted. Everything is useful for you or for someone else. And this month, as we align with Ageless Vitality, we are looking at with our mind, our body, our spirit, our emotions, aligning with that all creative power, that all creative force that is always creating, always birthing. It is eternal. It cannot be stopped, and it cannot be stopped through you. My mom and I made an agreement a long time ago that we're going to do life until that hook in the sky. And I said to her, I'm like, I want you to keep doing what you're doing until God says stop. Right? Till God says stop. So if you get speaking engagements, go do it. If you're teaching, whatever it is, keep doing what you're doing until God says stop. Yes. And I give that invitation to each of you. Live your life full out. Say yes to opportunities that are in front of you. Say yes to what your heart truly desires, what you truly desire. Say yes to it. And keep going, keep living, keep being energized and vitalized until it's over, until God says it's over. Because the world does not know. So I expect all of us at 120 to be, in here, everybody get up on your feet, right? That's my expectation, all right? Let's turn in for prayer.